What's up, everybody? Welcome back. No, I'm not doing that. What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's poppin', everybody? What's poppin'? Hope you guys have been good, have been real solid. I have been feeling pretty good. I just want to quickly talking about, real quick. So, some progress, watercolor. Some people were suggesting uh, a kind of watercolor paper that's useful. So I got something similar. I got this Japanese one, and is it Japanese or I think it's Chinese. It's called Academy Watercolor Paper Pad, and it's been night and day with this thing. It's been so good with this. Um, the water doesn't like the paper doesn't buckle with the water. It retains a lot of the water. I don't get this weird thing of like this waxiness that I've had with the previous paper. So I'm slowly learning, and I'm still using my Kuretake. Is it called Kuretake? Something little watercolor thing that I have. It's this. It's pretty good, but I think I'm gonna get some tubes, some watercolor tubes. I think that'll help. And yeah, it's been a whole process, and what you guys are seeing here is just been my gradual progression of trying to get better at watercolor. It's been such a huge challenge because the approach is so different. You have to be more methodical in your approach versus when I'm using digital, I usually start with a darkish background of midtones and then I slowly build up my values. But here, once I lay down a value, like that's it. So if I get rid of a highlight or a lighter value, then I can't bring that back unless I use some alternative medium like gouache or something. But I'm just trying to have more control. It's helped me to slow down again, to just slow down a little bit. But I also want to just get some unique look to this because I know these things are achievable in digital too. But trying to do more traditional works, I get a lot of imperfections. As you guys can see with my approach, like I'll get a lot of imperfections, but there's a charm to that I kind of enjoy. I'm trying to have that a bit more controlled. That's another thing too that I've learned with watercolor, I have to be like way more intentional with how much pigment and water I'm applying because the one of the terrible habits I have with watercolors, I just keep applying too much water onto my paper and then I go back over it instead of letting it dry with more water and then I get this washed out thing where the pigment underneath begins to move around and I get these little edge marks where all the pigment and paint is gathering up. So I'm trying to get better. So I'm slowly learning, but this has been great. And some people have been suggesting just to get like better paper. And thank you guys so much. And again, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate y'all as always. And yeah, um, one thing, also the reason why I'm trying to do more traditional stuff is some of you guys know everything's so digital. Um, I feel like everyone's making products just to pump out product. Everyone's just creating just to like have something out there that they could just monetize and it's kind of cheapened the process of things. And I recently heard a discussion about this topic of like when it comes to art, it's more about the journey, like the story behind the art that makes it special. Versus now, when you're what we see now, especially on social media, it's made people be more individual and it's given us a platform to just like, for example, me talking into a void. And of course, this is something that you could say that I'm putting out there for the sake of algorithm or whatever, but instead of creating something that's meaningful and has value and there's a story attached to it, now with the way companies work, with all these advertisements, you're just being bombarded with so many things, and it's just to sell you something, and we just become consumers. You're just consuming things instead of creating things. And I believe as human beings, we're not meant to consume all the time. I believe that we're meant to create more than to consume. So I have this theory that when you fall into depression, um, there are a lot of factors that play into it, right? It could be your hormonal imbalance. Maybe you're going through a lot of psychological issues and environmental issues, like that all plays into it. And but I think one of the biggest factors has to do with there's no purpose in our life. So if you don't feel like you have meaning and purpose, then anything you say you think doesn't merit any weight to that could contribute to anything. And I think that's like the biggest reason for depression. I mean, I don't know. But the moment you feel like you can contribute to something and you can help people, you could connect with people, I think that depression begins to kind of go away because you feel like now you matter. And as human beings, we're meant to connect. As much as I enjoy being on my own, I'm just holed up in this room and or in my apartment, and I'm just working. Me and my girlfriend, all we do is just like work, but we still want to connect. We still want to relate, and at least for me, more so than her. But for me, it's something that I want to give back to people, and it gives me meaning. As much as like I enjoy this lifestyle of being able to um, just kind of do your own thing. As I'm not really a party person. I can party, man. I can get down, but more often than not, I just prefer to collect comic books, read books, play video games, um, host. I love hosting board game nights, playing D&D with my friends, playing cooperative games, just like being around, sharing stories, and having a moment. Like that's what I enjoy the most. And when you don't have that, I think people fall into such deep depression. We're at a period where we have so many ways to communicate, but everything is at a distance, so we feel lonelier. So instead of actually connecting with the person, like your friend, um, you instead communicate with them through like a close proximity by Instagram messages or just liking their stuff without ever really having to check up on them. And yeah, and the constant feed of like doom scrolling, like I'm guilty of it. Like, I got TikTok and IG, and there is some good stuff out there. There's like good content out there, but I don't like that I have lack of self control, and it's because I'm just consuming. This consuming culture is, I think, ruining your creativity. I think the more you create, the more meaning that you'll have, whether that's you writing music, writing a book, writing a poem, sending a letter to someone, creating art, you know, just creating, and even if you're creating an environment where you just want to create a safe space for your loved ones, whether you're cooking, you're just giving something to the world, even if it's just one person. I believe that the more we do that, the happier we'll be. Even if you're sad, that deep down you will feel a sense of fulfillment. So, yeah, with everything being so like digital and AI and companies just bombarding you with advertisement to consume and get this, and I have like a backlog. I have like a backlog of like like hundreds of games that I just bought because they were on sale. I have books that I still need to finish and read, and I am slowly getting through them. And it's the idea of FOMO. Um, I do feel like when I was younger, I always had less. When you had less things, you were bored, and your brain had to come up with something to entertain itself. So as I got older, I've gotten more in touch with my tabletop roots, just writing adventures down, creating game systems. I used to do this stuff when I was in middle school, and that's all I did during class. I remember I was a terrible academic, and I hated being in school. Um, Outside of class, in my neighborhood, I wasn't the greatest kid. I was a fucking menace at times, but in class, I would often just zone out. I just wanted an escape. So I had a friend who we both just bounced back and forth of different tabletop ideas and RPGs, and we would play these role-playing games on at school during class. And it's because I thought that it was just so boring. So you kind of fill that void. And I always got in trouble. I remember my teacher would always make fun of me because I would be in the corner somewhere with my friend, just not paying attention, not doing any of the classwork, and my teacher just gave up on us and said, "Oh, that's the island of lost kids. Children, do not go over there. Those are the island of lost kids." And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So, but I went back to more traditional things, pen and paper. I have a notebook. I got sketchbooks and stuff that I'm working on, and it's made me slow down in this age of where we feel like we need to just keep moving and moving and moving. I don't think that's natural. I don't think it's natural for human beings to just be an output of something, especially now with this whole hustle culture. I believe that you have to hustle. Like, I believe that you have to be realistic in your scheduling in terms of how you want to accomplish your goals. I strongly believe that. But when you're hustling, you need to really ask yourself, what is it that's important in your life? Is it that you're trying to get a promotion in a company? I mean, for some people, that's great. And if that means that you have to hustle and kiss ass and play the social kung fu game to get there and always be on edge and checking your work emails even outside of work, hey, that's what you got to do. But you got to go back to the core of who you are as a human being. And as human beings, we're meant to we're meant to live. We're meant to create. We go through struggles, we go through trials and tribulations, and we overcome. But you can't let this whole thing of if you're not making $1 million a year, or if you don't have a Maserati or something, and if you're not 24/7, all you're thinking about is work, that you're like worthless. Like you can't think that way. You can't think that way. You're just never enough. Um, you have to ask yourself what's important to you, like what matters to you, and like create something. Like just take the time right now to write. So that's essentially what I want to say about that. And what you guys are seeing is me struggling like a 6-year old with watercolor, trying my best to take everything that I've learned about color theory, value, and lighting, and whatever, just applying that to a medium that I'm very unfamiliar with. So it's been fun. Like, I'm okay making mistakes. I don't want to just show the best version of myself. Sometimes, sometimes you just gotta mac a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta mac. But it's okay. You don't you can wear your heart in your sleeves. Like let people judge, like let people think whatever it is that you're doing, like don't be afraid to fail. Like fail forward. That's also something that I've learned that is more important, especially with age. I'm gonna be dead one day. I'm gonna get old. I mean, I'm already like what? I'm about to approach 40 in a couple of years. So I gotta get shit going, right? I can't be afraid to do things. And so I've always wanted to create stuff. I just wanted to create things that mean something to me. And in the hopes that if I'm a fan of it, then somebody out there will also like the thing. So yeah, especially now with all these tech companies and jobs that are trying to replace humans with robots and AI. That's essentially what's happening. It's so, it's kind of psychopathic, like with the way how these corporations work. Instead of like human resource, like the HR is called human resource, like you're a resource to feed into the machine. Just to think about the language that they use. Human resource, you're just an output. You're just a resource for an output to contribute to something that's nothing that's outside of you. Um, it's really weird. It's just very unnatural. And this the way people talk in corporate. Everybody is just trying to maintain a status quo so they don't get fired. Everyone's just maintaining a status quo so they can make the money and feed their family. And it's at then the price you pay is your own dignity. So instead of having principles, you stand on the principles of expectations of what a company expects of you, what a job expects of you, instead of standing up for what's right. Because if you do, more than likely you'll get fired. Um, Everyone's walking on eggshells and everyone's just overworked. If you don't work enough, then you're not making enough money. And then it's just like it's not natural. I I realize when I'm not working all the time, I feel more fulfilled to have free time to hang out with people that I care about and to share an experience like where we can play board games or I get time to draw and write. I feel way more fulfilled. So I hope you guys, sorry if I'm rambling, but I hope you guys will ask yourself, what matters to you, and I hope you find that thing that means more than anything. Because at the end of the day, if you're an artist, especially with the way things are progressing, um, it's more important that you be a human being first. Because with your human experiences, you can relate and connect with others. And that will ultimately bring people together. That'll ultimately give you fulfillment. It's more important that you tell a story that only you can do. Only you know. Um, Dave Raposa said, like, don't be the best, be the only person. Because the only person that could tell your story is you. And I tell my students this, like, more than ever now, we need people to just be individuals. You don't need to conform to what these companies want you to do. If you're creative, you don't need to rely on technology. I mean, it's helpful. You could have things assist you, but you don't have to feel like you need to keep up with trends to stay relevant. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. There are some job markets where yes, if you don't take use this type of technology, you can get replaced. That has happened before. But ultimately, at the core of what I'm trying to say is with your artwork, with your stories, with the way you contribute to the world, that's completely unique to you, and no technology can ever replace that. Um, it might assist you in the process, but as long as you're genuine and you apply yourself and just take yourself seriously. I strongly believe that you'll be fine. You will be okay. You'll cultivate an audience. If you're worried, if you're an artist of any sorts and you're worried about the advent of AI and the economy and war and all that, it's like these are real things to be concerned about. But just know that what's missing behind all of this, even more so now, is the story that connects to the craft. Your cooking, your writing, the music, the artwork, how you talk to people, how you connect with others. All of these things is the story that is connected to that people remember. I saw, forgot what the quote was, but essentially it boggles down to this: a machine can create the Mona Lisa, but it's missing the essence of what makes the Mona Lisa. And that is because there's only one Leonardo da Vinci. And his story creating that painting and the mythology that followed after the painting, after his death, and how that painting exists throughout culture and how people perceive it, that is why the Mona Lisa is the Mona Lisa. It's not the technical aspects, it's not how pretty something looks, it's the story behind it. So just keep that in mind. If you're ever doubtful about yourself, just know that you are completely unique to you. Only you can tell the stories that you've experienced, and nobody else can. Nobody talks the way you do. It might be similar to how maybe you paint, draw, read, write, talk similarly to your favorite artists or people that you admire, but you're still cultivating your own spiritual self. And through that, like, be very, very confident and bold with what you're trying to say. So, um, this was completely like an impromptu. I didn't really have a plan for this video. I just wanted to be more consistent with uploads, um, and I genuinely want to contribute to people's lives. So I don't want to just be here and just say, hey guys, here's a entertaining video for you guys to just listen to. I just want to genuinely bring some value in the hopes that maybe you can take this and move forward into anything that you're doing. So that's that. Thank you guys for always tuning in. I Look, I always say this. I talk a lot of shit, but I believe in y'all, motherfucker. Peace out. Be